Change everything. Yes, so you were telling me about you want to introduce.
Listra, we have not welcomed people yet.
Welcome to our channel, everyone. And sorry we weren't here last week, but we're here again this week. And you know that we, on our channel, we present health issues, mainly in the mental health arena. And we hope that it will be inspirational to everyone. So, hi, Consuly. Welcome back.
Thank you. Welcome back. Thank you so much, Listra. So for people who just find us where we were laughing, so we were just talking and we completely forgot, to welcome people and also we're just diving in, talking about things, and we were just in a mood really of chatting, and we completely forget about what we're supposed to do. But again, you guys, you're welcome anywhere you are in the world. And so on this channel, as Listra said, we speak about anything that can affect our mental health. It can be illness, it can be something you are going through, stress, depression, all those kind of things. So we talk about how we can actually manage all these things that is going on. And I was just in the middle of telling Istra that I recently lost my nephew at a very young age, 23 years old, 23 years old. And it was kind of a shock to the whole family because, the boy was just too young. The life just began, and now we just lost him. And so that it's been about 1 week, maybe 1 week, maybe 2 weeks, right? So for me, the way I managed to go through that, there is one of this channel I was telling Ristra that I normally like listening to it, where they talk about knowing ourselves, who we are. And so that during that week, really, I managed to really to listen to more of it, and I came to realize how I don't even know myself that much. And I don't think how I don't know how much how you know yourself, but to me, I came to realize that there are so many things that I don't pay attention on, which I should pay attention on. For example, let's say I'm going to the shop, or maybe I'm driving around, and you always have this intuition about what you need to be doing and what you need to and what you shouldn't be doing. So how much do we listen to this intuition? Some of us, for example, sometimes I will listen to this really good intuition telling me, okay, don't buy this. Maybe next time buy this one. And some other time I would end up just buying. And at the end of the day, when I come back home, I would just realize that, I've spent more than I shouldn't have spent. And so all these things contribute on how really we pay attention on how we are feeling, on what's going on in our mind. And I came to realize that most of the time, we don't really pay attention. We don't pay attention to this discussion, internal discussion you are having. When you're about to eat, for example, when you're about to eat something, how often do we pay attention about how we are chewing that food we are eating? How do we pay attention on how on the type of food we have chosen? Because at the end of the day, when sometimes we like, I'm not sure if you have fallen into this. Sometimes I will buy something, I will eat it, and then I will regret. I'm like, oh my God, how did I end up having this type of food? I know that I shouldn't have eaten it, But then when in the process of buying it, I knew I shouldn't have bought it. And then I bought it and then I ate it. So that really brought attention to me how much I should really listen to my internal discussion on how things are happening. I know I'm not the only one. We all have this internal discussion about decision we are making every single day. About people we are meeting, about friends we are meeting. Are they good friends? Are they bad friends? And all those kind of things. So coming back now to mental health and how I managed to cope with losing my nephew. One thing I've realized that you will meet some people who will be like, I don't have a friend, or I don't care about either have people or not. Trust me, having people in your life is the beginning of you going through. If you have something that you are going through, having people around is the most important things that you can never imagine. We all operate, I don't know how I can explain it. When you have someone who is the closest friend to you, can be a family, can be a friend, and you managing to share with this person may not help, may not really like give you any tangible solution on what is happening with you, but only listening, it makes a lot of difference. And so going through what I managed to go through, having people around, coming to see me and making, people calling me and, it did help me. I know that my nephew is gone. I'm not going to be able to see him again. But at some point, also when you lose somebody who is so closest to you, you start thinking about yourself. How do you actually live your life? If you meant to go today, what life have you lived? Do you feel like you are satisfied with where you are at the moment, or do you feel like there is something you need to adjust? Because for me, when that happened, I felt like there are so much things that I'm yet to do, I'm yet to achieve, I'm yet to strive for before my time gets here. And one of the things I've realized that most of us we go through is having a fear of trying to do different things in life because you're thinking about, how is my friend Ilistra going to see me, or how is my colleague at work going to see me, and all these things, they become like a blockage to what you're supposed to be doing. So when I lost my nephew, I completely realized how much life is precious and how much things I still need to improve around you, and the impact I need to make around the people who are around me, and the knowledge I have, and sharing it with other people, because there is no point knowing about something and just knowing it internally, and I'm unable to share it. And by the time I'm leaving this world, I have not shared it. I felt like it's like, I know I'm here for purpose. And so why don't I start doing what I'm supposed to be doing? Instead of having this fear of having people around, I've got only one life to go through while I'm here. And it's very crucial for me to feel like I'm satisfied on how I'm living my life. So I think that's how much I can share about losing my nephew and going through that period. I can't say that, I don't know how I can explain it. I didn't feel like I was depressed. I didn't get to that level of feeling depression. I think I just went through crying and sadness moment, and then with the prayer and with the people around me, and I become stronger and stronger because I know it is a process for every single human. If you're alive, one day you will go. So that's one thing that we should understand. And even death, there is nothing to fear about because it's something, it will come anyway. So either you are scared of it or you're not scared. The only thing is just having inventory on yourself, what you are up to and how you are living your life at the moment. And I'm so grateful that I managed to go through that period, and I'm still here. The family is still strong. We managed to, you know, talk to each other and be there for one another. And because you realize in some people, when they lose someone, they end up having really a major depression, and they don't manage to come out of it. But I'm so grateful that in my family, and my sister who lost her son, she has become strong because we managed to, you know, to work together, communicate, and be there for each other. And yeah, so that's one of it. I mean, if you don't have a friend, if you are out there, you don't have a friend, at least a family, at least your colleague, you know, just have somebody that you can really confidently talk to, someone who can support you in everything you are going through, because it is very, very important. At some point, we are connected to each other. We may not be aware of it, but we are connected to each other. And there is a reason, there is a purpose why you have a brother, you have a sister, you have cousin, you have uncle, you have your colleague. There is a purpose for that. It's because God wants you to connect and just be there for one another. I think that's what I would love to say today.
That's fantastic that you've actually sailed through the grieving process and awareness. You see, awareness and knowing a lot of things, how to knowing about the emotions and how to go through them, and without thinking. That's very important. And I'm glad that you came through unscathed.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, because, and you said that support is very important when we're going through those situations. And for people who probably is alone, then you've got professionals available like counselors, life coach, those people who can help as well. If you haven't got any close family or friends, or you don't trust, or no, or people who you don't trust, then you can guarantee to get a counselor or somebody who is licensed to be confidential. So there's always help available.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, definitely. If anyone, you may not be going through, I've been through, but you may be going, you know, in a difficult time at the moment, and you feel like you don't trust no one, please, there is always some helpline in your local area. There is always this available support, free support, you know, one-to-one talk. It definitely helps. Please go for it, because I feel like I managed to go through the whole process very fast because of people who are around me, and me managing to share with them how I was feeling, and also them bringing a different conversation, because it's not always, you know, good to keep talking about the same thing, but, you know, people around me, they were able to talk to me different things, work, you know, people are calling me from work, updating me what's happening at work. And that was shifting my mind from thinking what I was thinking, and then my mind shifting, going to work. And, you know, having that mixture of feelings, it really helps your, you know, you being able to regulate your emotions. Yeah.
That's good. That's good. Having, like I said, a network of people. It may, because some people may not even be talking about your bereavement, but they may be able to take you off the focus of the focusing on the bereavement for a little while. You see, like your work colleagues and things, they can actually help. I think in Zimbabwe, they have a custom that
Okay.
whenever somebody in the family dies, then family visit, friends visit. It's like a whole barrage of people visiting you. So that they said they do that in order to keep you mentally capable, so that you wouldn't focus on the loss.
Yeah.
And
That's
which I found to be really, really an eye opener, because I've never actually seen it that way. Because in our culture, we tend to have a Western culture in that when somebody has a loss, you leave them alone to grovel in their loss.
I know. It's like you're giving them a space to cry and be
Yeah.
themselves. I mean, I would love, I mean, it's good to respect that person in that way, but
Mhm.
you are really leaving that person in a very vulnerable position,
Yeah.
and that person needs someone around. So as much as you can really manage to support that person, that would be helpful instead of leaving that person alone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's where some people now start sinking in, especially if they have lost one person and then now it's another person and now it's another person, and they start feeling like, having even that fear, because up to now there are people who are still, scared about, going through difficult times because they feel like that's the deadline, that's dead end. There is no any other good things are going to come. And so that's where when somebody's really that deep and they need somebody around,
Yeah.
somebody to be there for them. Yeah.
And I think that contributes to there's so many people in the Western world who are going through depression and anxiety, because they're left, there is not that support network to help people to cope through the situation. They're left alone and left with services who are overbooked anyway. So therefore, or the best they can do is stay home because they can't work. It becomes a disability.
Yeah. Yeah. Very
But
true.
when you got the support, when you got the support that you need through family, and because in Africa people, we have big families.
Yeah. Yeah.
Most likely supportive, and therefore if one is going through something, everybody's going through it, and everybody supports and helps
Yeah.
you, and
Definitely.
therefore you don't feel alone.
Yeah. The support is there. That's why I always in the past I met this guy who I used to work with, and then one day he asked me that I should take his vitals. And normally from where you work, well, for those who don't know, where I work in a hospital, and some of people who come very unwell, when you do their vitals, they end up, you see the BPs falling into 170, it's just shooting up to 170, 180. And that's very scary. That's very scary. So that person really need to be seen with, very urgently, need attention. So this one of my colleague, he asked me that on that particular day that I should take his vitals, and I did. It was shocking that his BP it was 200, over 200.
Oh
I
my.
was like, and I work with him, and I was like, have you never seen this one here before?
200, he's like a walking corpse.
I said, have you ever seen this kind of vitals before? Because actually, we do vitals like every single, I've never seen any of the patient we have we receive getting to over 200, but this guy was over 200. And I was like, you need to sit down. I'm going to look after you, and I don't want you to do anything more, And it's so bad how we try to cover ourselves on what's going on internally.
Yeah.
You are damaging yourself. You're not damaging people around you. You're the one damaging yourself. And that's why I said first that I came to realize how much most of us, we don't know ourselves, how we don't listen to ourselves, how we don't listen to what is going on internally. So I end up having a conversation with him. He was going through a lot. The wife just left him with his two children. But again, it was kind of like he expected that it was going to happen eventually. But then it just happened. And he wasn't really like taking in everything. So, and then I become his therapy. And it just recently now, when I worked with him, I said, hey, come, let's go and check your BP, how it's going. And, the BP has gone to normal. But, it's one of those things that we definitely need to pay attention to how we feel. And even if it's your work, I know you still want to be present at work. You still want to, you don't want to call sick. But imagine having a BP of 200, that any small trigger, that person can have heart attack and drop.
Yeah. What about a stroke?
And even a stroke. So those are kind of things we really need to watch off. And I felt, and when I asked him, this guy, do you have any friends? Do you have a family? And he said, so I have a family, but the family is not here. The only family I had is my wife and the children, and now they have left to a different country. And then I said, how about in a general generally, do you have any friends around you? He said, he doesn't have. How about work? He doesn't have. So, and I felt like he was going through a lot that he needed to share with somebody, but he didn't have that person. Yeah. So I just felt like, let me share this, because having somebody around you, definitely it's a very important.
Yeah. And when you think about the situation, his wife and children could have left because of his work or something that he's been going through, and it's been putting pressure on the family.
It's actually, when I spoke to him, it was so shocking. He said, "Conso, I caused it. I caused it. I started the problems, and it get to that level where I couldn't stop the problem, and I just let it go." So, and he said that for the past 7 years, I know that I've messed up, and when I wanted to try to change things around, it was too late, because my wife now has started reacting to everything that's going on. And he was like, yeah, so I expected that at some point, one day she will go. So it has happened. But again, I was like, why did you convince yourself that this is really going to happen? Because things happen because we wanted them to happen. If we don't want something to happen, we can actually stop it. So anyway, we went through too much talking, which I cannot go through here, of course, but it's just one of those cases where you realize that people tend to neglect themselves, and we shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah. Neglect themselves and the people who are their loved ones.
Yeah.
Because we prioritize other things.
That's very true. Yeah.
Well, I hope that everything work out for him.
Oh yeah, things are getting better now. I mean, that's why it's good to pay attention on what's going on around us and work on it until we see it over. And we've been talking more regularly, and I can see that he's getting there. And I'm so grateful that I've been much of his support.
Good.
Mm.
Good. Right. So on that note, we will end the session for this evening. Please subscribe, comment, like, and share this video with others. And we hope that we have inspired you in some way to think about yourself, think about your internal conversations, and be aware of your intuition and respond to it, because your intuition is the way, is your leader, is a part of you that guides you. And we should pay attention to it at all times.
Yeah.